Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Here to discuss, as always, you know him, you love him, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you doing on this fine Saturday afternoon?
I'm good, man. I'm flarking good.
I love to hear it. I love to flarkin' hear it. We're ready to talk Guardians of the Galaxy, aren't we?
We are.
Dude, I've been like, no spoilers, of course, off the top. I think we can talk about this in some generalities, just talk about the gameplay and stuff like that, but blew me out of the water.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if that's because, I don't know if it's because my partly I think it's because my expectations were very low because of Avengers and because of we didn't see much about the game and it was announced rather quickly, which I will actually give them points for doing that. From I think from announcement to release was
E3 to October.
That's really nothing, and I'll give them a lot of credit for that. It just
Eidos Montreal, to be precise.
Absolutely. And what else have they done?
Deus Ex.
There you go.
Human Revolution and Mankind Divided.
Mankind Divided, I give them a half score.
I'll get back to that.
No, it's just the writing is amazing. I care about the Guardians of the Galaxy more than I think I do in the movies.
Yeah,
but like I also
that's the best part.
But I also think that's not fair because I just got to spend 15 hours with these Guardians, and I've spent 4 hours with those other Guardians, who I still think are great, and I love those movies a lot.
Maybe like more like 6 to 8, I would say.
I guess including like the other movies. Yeah, that's fair. I would guess I was talking more their individual movies, but I mean, StarLord. I don't love his goofy jacket.
It grew on me.
It definitely grew on me from the beginning. I hated it less by the end. All the other Guardians look amazing. Gamora, mwah.
Gamora is the best designed comic book character, not in a comic book, I've ever seen.
Is that's like based off one of her costumes though, correct? Is it, or is it not?
I mean, her in the comics she has like yellow under her eyes.
Okay.
And in this it's like black, and I'm just like, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even just like her face and the way her hair is, but like the suit is so angular. It's like
an
whoever designed
design,
that.
yeah.
Oh my god,
it's very original.
I gotta get like. And, you know, it's not like Rocket and Drax are very original, but like Gamora, a character you probably wouldn't think needed to be original, like just blew me out of the water. I seriously love her look.
And even like Rocket and Groot, like I think Groot's pretty different from the movies, actually. Like, obviously he's still a tree man, but just the way his whole design, he almost has like hair coming out of the back of his like stump, like it's his twigs and stuff like that. I think he looks really cool. Rocket is great. Again, those were ones that I was afraid that like, oh man, we're doing the Avengers thing. We're not going outside the box at all with these characters. We're just doing kind of weird off copies of them. And it's truly
I think
not
at first glance that kind of looks like that.
It absolutely does at first glance. I completely agree.
And I truly think Avengers failed, so Guardians could run. That game, I think, has something to do with Guardians' success. The fact that Avengers failed the way it did made everyone skeptical of this game.
No, absolutely.
Single person. Not one person was like, this looks good. Like, everyone just looked at it with such skepticism. To a point, it was probably unfair. Because these were two different teams. I mean, we're still under the Square Enix booth. You know, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal are owned by Square, so they're kind of, you know, under the same umbrella with the Marvel IP and stuff. But like, once I got into this game, and I was just like, this is so actually good.
Well, and you said something the other day, which
the Guardians just saying it, like they don't feel like the dollar store.
Guardians. We have Guardians at home.
They're actually like you alluded to, like I think better than the movie counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying that I said?
No, you said like I do think another thing that hurt it was showing this game was tough. And like and just the base idea of being like, all right, you're in a Guardians of the Galaxy game, it's single player, you're playing as StarLord only, and you're commanding the other Guardians, and you're like, doesn't sound very fun. And right. Even like when you show it, it's like, this kind of looks a little weird. I don't really know how it's going to feel while I'm playing. I don't know how I'm feeling about just this whole thing. And like 2 hours in, I'm like, oh, I get it. I totally get it. And I think that
it's
really
a game
was
you really
thing.
needed to play, not see.
Yeah. And again, just when it comes to the writing and just the level design, I don't feel like I've seen sci-fi landscapes and worlds this like unique in a while.
Even the aliens are pretty weird looking.
Absolutely.
When you go to nowhere, like you get to see a lot of like civilian aliens, and they're really like strange looking, and they don't really take the time to like necessarily like describe them to
which
you
is fine,
or like get into it, but like you're just like, wow, this really feels like an alien world. Like I really feel like
It's
I'm
not
in space.
recognizable at all. You're
Like
absolutely
there's
right.
no humans walking around. Like there's no even humanoid looking things practically.
And I do think it's like an interesting like point in this world that like Terrans, as they're called, or whatever, Earth people. They're
like
not
few
really
and far
because
between,
they really haven't discovered space travel, and unless you were fucking abducted like Peter Quill or maybe got superpowers, you're not going out into space. So I thought that's so true. I didn't even think about that. You really don't see any even more like there's humanoid aliens, but like
the Kree.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there's just they look weird as hell and lipless, and he can't. That whole scene, I was like, "What's happening?"
How did that play out for you?
I convinced him that we were friends.
I did too. Yeah.
So that was another thing. The choice in this game, I didn't expect it to be as meaningful most of the time.
So that I would sort of say the opposite. Like, was it meaningful?
I think there were certain like obviously I think there are the certain ones where you're just talking in like within your group that don't really make a difference. But I do think there are certain choices that you make. Like, I'm curious to go back. It seems the way that they are implying that this would have caused this scene to go a different way. One being Cosmo near the end, what you do with him. There's like a choice that you can make.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that, again, not all of them. A lot of them are just
'Cause I'm
dialogue options with what you want to talk
What
about.
is letting Drax throw Rocket actually do for Rocket?
For later in the game, yeah.
Yeah,
there
like
are certain things.
Those two like Groot and Rocket that kind of like leave the groove for a little bit, and I'm like, even when I still told him not to do that, they still like leave. So I'm like, I wonder if that plays.
Maybe it's
into
how
it.
they feel about you by the end. Like I feel like, see, that's the thing. I am curious. That's a good point. I'm curious to see how these endings differ upon different choices, and I'm sure we could look up videos on that, and there's probably people who've done comparisons on like certain choices. But I think it's cool in those like moment to moment choices that you can make of choosing what to talk about and like what you're kind of getting background filled in on. One thing I do think with the like ambient dialogue that fucked me up is I'd run into areas too quickly and it would cut it off.
Okay, so that happens all the time.
Yeah.
There's no way to avoid it, and I really think it was a design decision, and because the Guardians talk all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Don't stop talking.
They're all
a lot of their dialogue sounds pretty natural. Like they're either
agree.
like they're bullshitting essentially. Like they're really not like the dialogue isn't necessarily like super. They're not like exploiting or being like expletive or like.
Or just telling you what's going on. Like there's a bit of it, but like
they're just like talking about what's going on around them, and it's not really like vital that you hear all this stuff, but like you're constantly getting cut off by enemies, or maybe you go down like a sloped thing to go to the next area, or like, and I kind of was getting annoyed at that in the start, and I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, this happens the whole game. I'm like, this must have been like a design choice, because there's no way they would have been like, we have a lot of dialogue here. They just keep talking. They don't stop.
Well, and I do think that kind of lends to the fact of like their team. They've been hanging out. Like you wouldn't just walk silently like you would have some moments of silence, you think. But you're not just walking silently with everyone all the time. Yeah.
You know, we know what to expect with the humor of this team and
Absolutely.
this comic and from the movies. But like again, I kind of like it. Even the use of Flarkin. Like at first, I was like, okay, and then I'm like, wow, they're really using it a
feels
lot.
natural. It
But
does
I'm like,
by the end.
Yeah, like it was annoying me at first. I'm like, you know what? If you just replace Flarkin with fuck, which is essentially what it is,
It literally
I'm
is,
like,
yeah.
I don't think you would notice because people say fuck a lot.
That's what I mean. So like it feels natural and it feels real. It feels like a worthy kind of swap out to be able to say fuck without really saying the F word. And it feels natural. It feels like that's like, this is fucking ridiculous. That's how we talk, right? So this is like, it works. It makes it feel real. Like, whereas like there's certain things when they try to introduce like fake language in shows and stuff, like even in The Flash when they did like his daughter shows up and she starts using like it's from the Batman the Animated Series, that lands a little bit better. It's like something for cool and like
Shui.
Yeah, and it's like
Shui works.
It does.
I think Shui works.
But again, I think that's a very
it's
rare
Rama Beyond.
Yeah, that's
they
a
say
very
beyond.
rare kind of thing to be able to pull off for sure.
Yeah.
To make up a language that actually like a word that feels natural and sticks.
Right.
But who was your favorite Guardian?
Tough one. you like them all. I mean,
you really do. By the end, you really
Groot's his own thing, but
of course, yeah.
But like even Drax, the Guardian, who I think like I want to say it's between StarLord and Gamora, but like they really make you like Drax in this. I feel like MCU's
they give him
Drax,
more two dimensions. Yeah.
And I'm sorry if people are getting annoyed by like us comparing them to the movies, but it's kind of hard.
Kind of our
not
only.
to.
I don't know much about the comics. True,
Right.
like that was another thing that was cool about this game. Quick sidebar. I don't know much about anything that's like when you're going through the criminal list and you're seeing all these extra characters. I'm like, I have no idea who any of these
Yeah, and the lore is a lot different in this. Like in this with StarLord, I'll get back to Drax, but with StarLord, like they do a little bit more of his comic origin. Like he gets abducted by the Chitauri, and he essentially like that's his reason for disliking the Chitauri, and there's a galactic war and Thanos is involved in it and the Chitauri are involved in it, but it's only in the galaxy, and you know it's like a 12-year long war, and Star-Lord and the Ravagers kind of get mixed up in helping the Nova Corps, and you find out that like Gamora switched sides, Drax kills Thanos apparently, like he actually does do that, and you know you get some background with you know his daughter and his wife getting killed by Thanos, which is what it is in the MCU. But Star-Lord, you know, he's Spartoi. He's not, you know, there's no.
So what
ego.
are the Spartoi? Like that's just another alien race.
They're like essentially like a really advanced civilization.
Like Earth, like human like civilization.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Jason of Spartax is his father.
Gotcha.
In this and in the comics.
Okay.
And it seems like Peter Quill knows that.
She's like very. Yeah, no, it
like
seems like
he
knows
his guns are Spartoi tech. He knows his father is Spartoi, and it seems like he's already gone through that journey of like finding him.
No, it does, and that's the other thing. This is a lived-in world, and I appreciate that. It harkens back to like Arkham. This world has been existing a while. We're dropping into it. They seem pretty new together. Like when did the war end that they were talking about? Like pretty recently after that. It was 12 years after the war. So
yeah. Maybe the war wasn't 12 years long. Sorry, it's 12 years after the war that this game.
How old
place.
is he supposed to be in this?
So you were saying that you were kind of having that conversation with me. So he's like 12 when he gets 13 when he gets abducted.
Okay, and then 12. And then it's 12 years after the war. So you would assume that
he's got to be his.
I'd say 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Yeah, yeah. Because I guess
interesting.
I guess it's 2021.
I guess so. And you'd assume he ages. You can kind of make that thing in the space thing where he ages differently because he's out in space. Like he wouldn't necessarily age his
DNA.
Yeah, that's true too. But like also like you wouldn't age the same. You might age faster actually. I don't know if you weren't on Earth, but
yeah. And then like you know they get into like they really make you care about like what's going on individually with all the Guardians and like same like Drax and Rocket especially. I feel like. The Guardians movie kind of like makes you care that Rocket is an experiment and like he clearly has some PTSD from it, and they get into it in this game as well. And but yeah, like Drax was really the one that was just like, wow, they didn't really make him into a bumbling idiot all the time. Because like he kind of is in Guardians, and I don't even necessarily in the movies, and I don't really like that.
I don't even think he's an idiot in the movies. I think he's actually very smart. He's just super literal, which makes him like come off as that guy. Like I guess the standing still thing is kind of like that's a fair like that's like a joke kind of at him. Like obviously he should know that he can't be invisible when he stands still.
Right.
But I do think you're right. But again, I do think part of that comes from being able to spend so much time with these Guardians. I really do. Like kind of being able to like hang out with and really kind of settle in with them. Whereas, like, again, I still do think I'm going to stop comparing them after this because
it's really hard.
But I do still absolutely adore those Marvel movies, and I think they do a good job of telling me who those characters are.
I think what we have here is better.
But again, I think that's a product of it. Sure, and I can agree with you. I don't think I think that's a product of us being able to spend 15 to 16 hours with these people and really develop like this kind of
the progression of the relationship is like great.
It works
and, like,
well.
Really, by the end of the game, they feel like they're a team.
They do,
both within their dialogue and how they treat each other, and also like Groot just starts doing like the things you tell him to do, like make a bridge. Like he just does it.
So that was the thing
and,
I
like,
did think
other
was
people
cool
start doing things
because I did have like
them.
So that was one thing at the beginning. I'm like, why do I have to tell these guys to do these certain things? And I did think that was a good progression of oh, they're just doing it.
Yeah,
now.
sometimes Gamora will be like, I got it.
Yeah.
Like before, you look at it and she's like, okay, I need to cut this open.
It's good.
Yeah, and like some of our other characters, like I really liked Corell and Nikki, and spoilers, Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Was cool to see. As soon as I saw this gold guy, I was like, this is totally Adam
but
Warlock.
even just like, oh yeah. Even in the trailer when he like
Cosmo.
walks out and he has like the collar on, I'm like, oh well, Adam Warlock's in this.
Oh really? I didn't see that trailer.
Oh yeah, there's like it was like a stinger at the end of one of them. He like kind of walks out into like
maybe I just forgot.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm trying to think. Overall gameplay wise, I just thought it was really well done. I thought all of StarLord's different kind of elements were fun. I thought it was interesting. Like I didn't quite understand how to use it all at first, and it kind of took me like 4 or 5 chapters to really settle in to like how it plays. And like, I mean, you got to direct all the Guardians to do certain things. They have power-ups that you unlock through like skill points and all that stuff.
Yeah, I really think there's this learned synergy of the gameplay to kind of like figure out how to like maximize the efficiency of your moves and your team's moves and your own moves.
I thought the shield kind of thing was interesting, like the different elements for different shields and stuff like that to take them.
Yeah.
Again, it's Arkham in the way of like not in the way it's played and like how it's Arkham in the way of they give you these enemies and they give you the tools to take on certain enemies, and you have to think on the fly within that battle on how to take out the certain enemies and which ones you should take out first. Like there's the floating guys who power up all their like cohorts and all that stuff, and then you got the lower level dudes who you can kind of just beat up like and just pull them in and fuck them up. And by the end, I was like, man, the one that I thought was kind of useless at first was the wind one. I'm like, this is kind of stupid.
It's great.
But then by the end, I'm
those
like,
range guys,
yeah, pull them in.
Yeah,
it's great stuff. Again, every decision and choice made in regards to gameplay, I think really works.
I think the only thing I didn't like was I think the way in which Peter Quill kind of moves when his gun, like when he like the way in like which the dynamic turning of like when he's shooting was kind of weird, because I don't like when you back up and he's like switching sides, like it's just like I'm like that animation I feel like could have been better.
Could be a little bit cooler.
But yeah, like I think playing StarLord was really fun. I think adding the guns, elemental like sportoid tech was a good idea. Making those guns more than just guns.
No, I think that was really it's a great point of differentiation. And even like him with his music and stuff like that, it's not as important. But man, that soundtrack
we gotta talk about the third party soundtrack, not the score, but like the music they insert in the game. It's like like
well, dude, when they released
Tyler, it's Rick Astley, it's it's White Wedding by Billy Idol.
I've been listening to it.
Oh my god, it's fantastic.
It's if you put the 80s in a time capsule and just. Was that me?
Nah, it's my computer.
But yeah, I mean, you got Rick Astley, Loverboy, like that's you'd probably more know. Oh fuck, what's the song? Wake me up before you go. That's Loverboy, but that's not in this one.
Wait, that's it's fucking George Michael.
But that also is. Was he in Loverboy? Because I'm pretty sure that's also.
I don't
Loverboy.
think that band is like displayed as that anymore. Because it's George Michael and another dude who do that song.
That's right. You're
but
right.
But it's more known.
Yeah.
That it's like it's George Michael's band.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he just kind of took off. Yeah. But I mean,
yes,
just banger after banger. I did think the one gameplay thing that I didn't really kind of get the hang of, and I didn't really quite understand, was like the huddle thing.
Oh, I want to talk about the huddle, but like before I mention the huddle, because the music does play when you huddle up. Mm-hmm. I loved the StarLord band. I loved how they.
Yeah, I didn't listen to a ton of it, but I did think that was a cool thing.
There's a Spotify playlist of all the music that they made.
Have it right here on my phone.
Yeah, and like the StarLord album is in there. That's original music that they, the reason why Peter Quill is called StarLord is because he likes the band StarLord.
Yeah,
and that's where he gets his name. And I'm like, that's interesting.
No,
that's really like, I think it's really believable.
And I do think even his look harkens to that.
Yeah, he's got pins on his jacket, and like, I think at first, and like his hair, I love his hair, I love his design. And at first, that jacket was like, ooh, but you know what? As I was playing it, because like my one thing was like, this can't be anything like the movies. It can't be anything like the movies, because that's why Avengers was bad, because it was funny, too much trying to be the movies in a way.
But it's funny though, because they do go to a lot of places from the movies in this.
But like,
they do them so differently enough to
Cosmo. So, like
one of my favorite characters.
So good, and like he actually talks like
like a Russian,
in like a Soviet Russian and
accent. It's so good.
But he also acts like a dog, and he's like play fitch.
I felt so dumb for not knowing. The cannon
comes up and shoots the ball, and he just goes running after.
And then he has little puppies in spacesuits. What are we doing? It's amazing.
Who's the mom?
Yeah,
who is the mom?
Maybe he cloned them. I don't know.
I always thought that was
when
fun,
they popped up in little puppies in little spacesuits.
Yeah, they run down.
It was amazing.
And like StarLord just holding them. And
it's
he's
so good.
Talk.
I mean, just again, like when they're saying we got to go see Cosmo Nowhere. Did you realize that that's who they were going to see?
Yeah,
I don't know why it was such a good surprise. I was like, duh, fuck, that was so good because they did show him in the trailers and stuff.
And Mantis is I think. If anyone is really close to the movie counterpart, it's Mantis.
Absolutely. She's still kind of a weird, like,
quirky
person.
Yeah, like
I'd say she's more quirky in this.
They really double down on like what her role and powers are. That like they call her the Celestial Madonna. She's like essentially like a foreteller. She like knows what's gonna happen and like she's seen all different realities and like in this one like. You know, you lose, and like she has like a bunch of dialogue.
I'm your ex-wife in this one. It's like what?
Yeah.
That is funny. I do think that part where we're going through with Drax, her on his head and stuff like that, was maybe my least favorite part.
It was really long.
It was long.
I think if anything of the critique of that part, it was just like very
lengthy, and just kind of like okay, we can kind of move on. But I mean, overall, this game's 15 hours.
Let's go back. Yeah. Let's go back to the huddle up part. Yeah. So like, there's a sort of like your ultimate move, which is StarLord being the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The way he's sort of presented within the team dynamic, he is the leader.
No,
and I would kind of argue that a little bit with the movie counterpart. I'm sorry, I'm comparing them. I just have to. I just fucking have to because like it's hard not to. It's really hard not to.
He's more like they literally look to him as the leader, like and it's like stated,
and
like,
they respect, and eventually they respect him as such. But yeah, they huddle up and like they're either really down on their luck and like this battle's not going too well, or like they're like I'm hype, and then he kind of gives them like a pep talk, and like if you guess the right one, they all get hype, or if you guess the wrong one, they're like what?
And then so what's the bad? Like does anything bad happen if you don't hit the right one?
The rest of the Guardians don't get the benefits, only you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and when you do the huddle up, like he puts his Walkman up in the air, and then and then it just plays a random song, and there is use of third-party music when it just works. This is an example of when that music just works.
Pops in. I do kind of wish it played more often and not just on those. But it's good. It's great stuff.
I wish it was like Metal Gear Solid where
you kind of pick it at once. Yeah.
Right.
Which is you can do it on the ship, which is cool. You can kind of put on whatever song you want. What'd you think of the Milano?
Awesome.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was very different. I thought the whole like cylinder exit thing was very different and cool. Like the back hatch, and then even just again very distinct. I liked how birdish it really like the way its wings almost like were like feathers and they like flapped in. Very cool design. And even what'd you think of like the actual flying bits? Like when you played it?
Yeah, they were fun.
They were fun.
Again, didn't overstay their welcome. I think if maybe they did, they would have been a little bit annoying, but like there's maybe 3 or 4
No,
of them.
I think they work very well.
They're quick and you're done, and I don't feel like they're too difficult.
Absolutely.
What difficulty did you play on?
Not normal, the one above.
I played a custom difficulty, so I played on the hardest, but I adjusted some things.
Okay.
Here and there, but game's pretty easy.
No, yeah, I
think some of the enemies can be a little spongy.
Absolutely, the big like church guys.
Yeah, the Inquisitors.
Yeah, I think so.
The robots.
Yeah. What did you think about the church, by the way?
Interesting.
I thought it was a cool.
I think the story is really interesting. I mean, let's kind of talk about the narrative again, and jumping into hard spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear the big meat of it, jump out.
Go buy this game. Seriously, it's worth the $60 price tag.
Yeah.
It's like if I can compare it to anything, it's like if you take like it's on the level of this might sound blasphemous of like an Uncharted and like a Last of Us for me. Like it really is. Like in the way of like I care about these characters so much. By the end, I was just so invested, and I thought they just worked so well together.
And you know what's funny? I expected more of an open world design, and I'm glad it was
completely linear. I love it. Do more.
I don't think this game necessarily makes you want to replay it. I'm going to for the 100% because there's
a new game plus.
Yeah, there's a new game plus, but like replaying it doesn't seem like okay, like you're probably just gonna play like a very similar.
You know what? I
experience.
want to watch the movie again. It's almost literally like I want to watch this again because it's a fun
like
time,
again, it's a 15 hours and it's a good romp. But let's talk about the story. So I really liked the fact that they immediately jump off with like, oh, Nikki is your daughter, or like it looks like it, and then like you sort of get like infoed into thinking it is.
No, you
like everyone starts
they
buying
absolutely like it's. You're like, oh, it's his daughter.
No,
obviously.
but, yeah, it's like, oh, like when the
That was a
elevator
great
scene was
switch.
like, oh shit, is Nikki Peter's daughter with Carell, and like because apparently they had a fling,
and then also apparently in this world, like what are they called again? The Zan, what is
the Nova Corps?
Yeah, what's their
the World Mind?
No, the like species that she is in.
A Kree?
They like they can't. Like there's like purity laws basically.
They have that. In,
is that in?
That's a thing.
Is
yeah.
that like so?
Yeah.
Like which I thought was interesting.
The
in the
Kree
way
are all high and mighty about themselves. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. The Kree don't run the Nova Corps in the movies, do they? Is that the Kree?
Kree are. I think no.
The Kree are the bad people.
It's the
aren't
Xandarians.
They? That's right. Yeah.
But like no. I don't know if you picked this up. I'm pretty sure it is the Xandarians, but Carell just happens to be a Kree who's a galactic war veteran.
That makes sense.
That's why she's a Nova.
Also, the Nova Corps outfits, really cool. I like that design a lot.
Yeah. So, and and Nikki gets captured by. I like how they introduce
what
Raker.
is it called? The Church of
Unification.
Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
it.
yeah, and that's a comic book thing. All this stuff is a comic book thing. The Adam Warlock stuff involving him. That's his origin. He's a god to this church. And he like shit happens essentially.
I wonder how much of that they might have were going to use in.
And Nikki Gold's. That's how she looks in the comics at the end.
So okay, she is a comic book character,
but her name is just Nikki Gold. There's no superhero alias. That's just who she is.
Oh, okay. In the comic books,
yes.
So they basically built her a backstory in this game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Her design was cool. I thought she looked pretty
like
dope.
when she gets out, she becomes like the matriarch, and the Magus is a part of Adam Warlock. And I'm really curious to see what the next Guardians is like, because Adam Warlock is in the next Guardians. So like, I'm like, I wonder like.
So that is what I thought he was going to go out and kind of do his own thing. And like, he's like, but I'll keep an eye out. Like, if you guys need help, like I'm around. I didn't realize he was implying he's going to stick around on the team. I thought only Nikki was going to be.
Oh no, I don't think he is.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you're saying.
No, I'm talking about in the movie.
Oh, whoa,
because
yeah.
we're getting Adam Warlock.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So like, Magus is a half of Adam Warlock. Like it's an evil version of him essentially.
No,
it's
I'd be curious what they're going to do with him.
Persona that we kind of we find in the Soul Gem in the beginning, which I was like, that is totally the Soul Gem.
What else would it be? Yeah.
And it's really cool that like that's what's in Adam Warlock's forehead.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It does.
Yeah.
Again, touching on things in ways that we've seen before, but are different. And like, I thought it was very, very cool. So I guess like he just left the stone in that quarantine zone was the idea, right? Like, and then he just kind of went into exile.
No, they removed it. The church removed it from his head.
Oh, and then, but how did it get in the quarantine zone then?
I guess they lost it.
Interesting. But one thing the churches, like, again, going back to like level design and all this stuff, when you go into their like kind of big to go talk to her for the first time, it's so fucking cool. Like the gold everywhere, the way like the platforms come up and then they fuse together, just really unique and interesting designs and thoughts here. Like I can't give, what is it, Eidos Montreal enough credit, really. Like you guys knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, the twists and turns of the narrative are just great. And then we find out Nikki isn't StarLord's daughter, and like we do find out that like she's just like, no, I just picked her up. Yeah. Like she's not she's not your kid. And like it was and like she even thought you were her father.
Yeah.
Like based off of like
she's a
really smart kid and like gets into trouble and like her curiosity kind of gets the best of her, and I think it is kind of believable that she gets taken over by this creature and like basically like it's lying to her that her mom's alive or she can get her back, and like
and so that's what Magus is. Yeah, that's the great promise. Is the idea is like you can have like basically this Magus thing traps you in this like mind prison of living with the people you've lost and the people you love. So, and just all these people are falling victim. And I thought, so what did you do with the world mind?
I made it doubt what it was saying.
Okay, and then did that do anything by the end?
Yes, they show up.
So I didn't, and then they showed up and helped them.
No way!
So, like the world mind doesn't show up, but like Nova Corps, like part of Nova Corps accepts the promise and they form a blockade like around.
Okay, that didn't happen for me.
Yeah,
so like world mind, like we're in the thing and they show up and they, you know, the part with all the Inquisitors.
Yeah,
the world mind like comes in on that part and like fucks them all up.
Yeah, no, that fuck didn't show up for me.
So you had to fight them all?
I had to fight them all. Yeah,
yeah.
And
so
then,
I didn't have to do that. I was like, oh shit.
Did you sell Groot or
I sold Groot.
Okay, so did I.
What happens if you sell Rocket?
I don't. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
I was curious to see if you made.
I'm sure. See, like
again, that's
going
to play out.
Like, I don't think that decision necessarily makes any sort of difference.
I think the scene would play out differently. That's all.
Right.
That's. I agree. I don't think there would be necessarily anything different.
Yeah. So what about? So did you break Cosmo's?
Did you?
Promise? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back home.
Peter Quills, Guardians of Galaxy. Yeah, no, Guardian of Galaxies. That's right. He does the galaxies and no Guardian. I just lost my train of thought because I just thought about little space puppies.
We were talking about Cosmo being broken from the promise.
Yeah, so we saved him so that he was able to. What does he do again? He like fires. He brings nowhere at one point. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, he brings
shows
the
up,
fucking head and he starts shooting
people, which was great. I'm trying to think of other choices. I think those were kind of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But that is cool. So that is interesting. So I do think that, again, I don't think it's like probably going to completely destroy your outcome. I think it's more of like certain things are going to play out differently. Which,
right.
you know, is...
And it's not like these choices matter.
No, they don't really.
Life or death. Like, it's not
more
that
of like,
kind of thing.
I'm curious how your relationships with the Guardians can be different by the end, depending on different choices you made. But
I see. I have a hard time believing there's going to be like a major difference because
I
feel like at the end, like I think the point is that you guys become a team.
I completely agree with you. I think it's tough to. Yeah.
Again, like so many like it. I can't praise this game enough.
Even that scene of them just doing the walk away, it's good. I love it. Like
and then at the end, when you all think it's over, Magus takes over Adam Warlock.
So when you asked me the chapters, I was like, I'm telling him 15. Because I was surprised by the 16th one. Yeah. And I didn't want to like ruin that.
Yeah,
so,
that would have ruined it.
Yeah, that's why I was like, all right. So you were surprised though when he did.
Yes.
Like, it took me by surprise too. I was
and
like,
you know what? And a lot of times I was legitimately like grinning while playing this game. I think it was like towards the end. I think, is there a music sequence? Yes, there is. There's a music sequence at that part, and I was just like big smile on my face. I'm like, this is
dude.
So
the scene
much
that gave
fun.
me the biggest grin was when the monster lady, who I also love. What's her name?
Lady Hellbender.
Amazing. When she comes back, she's like, StarLord, your music box. And he runs and catches it. Yeah. And there's the dragon behind. Like,
well, we didn't even talk about Fing Fang Foom.
I truly, like you said, I was grinning from ear to ear. It was so good. It felt earned, and like
I really like when they're looking for the monster and Drax like name drops Fing Fang Foom, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. And then Star-Lord is like,
no,
Drax,
we're gonna go find him.
We're gonna go, and he's like, the legendary Fing Fang Foom, and it's like, oh my god.
Again, another thing towards for. You feel Drax's excitement. Like it is, it's like it feels so genuine.
It's like, wow, we're gonna go hunt Fing Fang Foom.
That world was really cool too. Again, another really cool level design. Like this, it's like this snowy red rocks world.
And a lot of like different like side characters. That one that's on the planet, you see her in the list of people when you go to the Nova Corps and you have access to all their things. She's in there.
Same with the Red Legion or whatever.
The Lethal Legion.
And
Captain Agony.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I thought that dude kind of looked like the Winter Soldier, the one guy in the like that you can let loose.
So who is that?
I
didn't let him out.
He's in the I did.
So what happens when you let him out?
You let him out, like you press it, and then he like floats down, and then all of a sudden you're walking by like a window, and he's just floating by outside, and he's like, "Help me!" So like I don't know exactly.
I didn't let him out,
but like he's in the criminal docks. I forget his name though.
Yeah, he is.
But he kind of looked like the Winter Soldier to me, to be honest.
Okay.
Anything? Yeah, Fing Fang Foom though. That fight, boss fights were fun.
Boss fights were very fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of them.
I did too.
I think the one thing, again, like going back to replayability, the progression is very short. I feel like maybe 3 or 4 acts or chapters. Yeah, 3 or 4 chapters before the end, I had everything maxed. By the end of the game, I had all the powers and I had all the upgrades.
Yeah, I would say that's. But again, I I think
and
that's
that's
good.
fine.
I want to be
It's
able to
fine.
spend some time
I'm
with
just
the good
saying,
stuff.
It's like, hey, like the replayability. It's like, okay, like you get pretty much everything besides the outfits, which are missable.
I will say, everything doesn't need to be replayed, right? Everything doesn't need
that's
to
what I'm
have an
saying.
end game. Everything, like,
Right.
no, you're right. Like, it's so refreshing.
But that's
to
what
go
I'm
back
saying.
to
Like,
just a
they're
single.
really like I would say there isn't really replayability with this game in a sense. You can for sure, but like I don't think it's like begging you to.
Do you like to rewatch a movie? Then that's what replaying this game would be like, I think. And you know, you can explore a little bit more. There's some collectibles you can't find, but
What'd you think about the outfits?
I didn't get many of them.
I didn't use them because I was very like Gamora staying in that outfit.
Yeah, no.
And
Did you see her in the Nova outfit?
Yeah.
They gave her like negative ass. It's so weird.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
no, I didn't
Like
notice.
it's so. And listen, the only
They
reason I
gave her, like,
noticed was because it
negative
was
ass.
literally a plank, like flat. And I mean, StarLord's got a fucking junk in his trunk, so it's confusing me. Anywho, but
Yeah, you know, at first, because I was like, I remember I said, I was like, I'm fucking switching to the fucking the comic book outfit as soon as I
So
play.
I wasn't
And
able to
like,
pre-order, so I didn't get them.
I felt like I'm immersed in these outfits. I think outfits can break immersion for me playing games. So like on the new game plus, you know, all the outfits all the way. Yeah, there's Nova Corps stuff. There's the five horsemen of the apocalypse from like what I really like about this Insomniac Spider-Man, take a fucking hint. They give you like a brief little like bio of like what the outfit is, when in the comics it's from, if it's from the game or if it's from a comic,
do
who
that
wrote it,
in-
who illustrated it.
Did they do that in Arkham? I think
No.
they didn't.
No, I don't think so. But I really appreciated that because I'm like, oh, this Apocalypse outfit is from Age of Apocalypse from 2015. Oh, cool.
That was-
And same with Gamora has like her comic book outfit, and I'm like, it's from a comic, and like same with
First
Drax,
Date.
all his different outfits. I think, does everyone have their movie outfit?
I think you can get.
StarLord and Drax definitely do. I don't know about everyone else.
I don't know. Again, like you can't really make like Groot's outfit is.
Groot's outfits are pretty lame, but
Yeah, but
there's
it's
only
like
so much you can do
with a
them.
tree man.
Like he does have the Nova Corps outfit is pretty funny.
But even I will say with Groot, just to go back to characters, like they give you can spend more time with him and learn. Like it's nice. It kind of sucks that you have to have Rocket like communicate for him, but I still think like learning about like the what are they, the Floral Colossus and all that stuff, and like they're. So was Groot literally the language for everyone? Is that how that, like every Floral Colossus just said, I am Groot? Imagine how fucked up of a language. Like it would just be inflections on different on the word in many different ways.
Did you go to the collector's VIP thing?
No, I think I missed it.
So Lipless, doesn't he give you it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went there. And you can buy something for Gamora, and I missed that because I was like, I'm going to say, did you pay off your bounty?
No.
I did.
So
and I got an achievement for that. So I was kind of thinking, I'm like, interesting. I'm like, because like there are achievements. I was like, if I miss this is totally missable. Yeah, so I paid off the bounty.
yeah,
and
I
got an
did. And then at
achievement.
the end, like literally at the end,
So
like,
what happens?
it's kind of more just a joke, but you're sitting there and StarLord's like having this kind of good moment with himself, and then all of a sudden just everything shuts off. He's like, what the fuck? And then Rocket's like, did we ever get rid of that Nova tracker? He's like, fuck, and they're just floating away through space, and the credits.
That's funny. Yeah, that did
I
not
know.
happen for me.
I thought it was pretty good.
I paid the bounty. Yeah, because you can spend the money on Nowhere, and you can get a doll for Gamora. And real quick, we got to go back to Gamora because Gamora so much different from the movies too. Like she actually feels like a legitimate, like not sociopathic person. In the
No, for
movie,
sure.
she definitely feels like her trauma has sort of like taken over
Molded her into
character.
what she. Yeah, absolutely.
And like you could like in this, she like she like collects dolls, and that's like one of the first thing you learn about her. And she she has much more of a personality and stuff. And I really appreciate like just the different tone. They
And even
took
her
with it.
backstory with what's her name, her sister
Nebula.
Nebula.
Yeah,
I think that's very she
that
kills
moment
her.
when
Yeah.
and like I like how like she gets weak to seeing the kids in the church because she feels like
She feels like that was her. Yeah.
right, and then she gets upset and she like goes in and yeah, and then
Amazing writing.
yeah.
Really is. Like guys, can you go write some movies too? I don't know. Like let's just like these. I will say like Guardians I enjoy from the movies a lot, but before that I didn't care anything about. I don't read any comic books afterwards. This game made me care about these characters in a way that I didn't expect at all. Yeah. And I think that is one of the best accolades you can give anything, in my opinion. And this is my I think this is my game of the year so far. I really can't think of it.
This is my game of the year.
Like, I can't think of anything else.
Halo is the only thing that has yet to come out that is going to become close. But, like, Ratchet and Clank was my game of the year. This game blows Ratchet out of the water.
So good.
Because I just think of how surprising it was. How good it was. I think that's why this game, I think, is people are so high on it, because nobody had faith in it because of Avengers, and that sucks for Eidos.
And just because, again, like we were saying, it doesn't show well. It doesn't. Like, it doesn't look like a fun game off that. You got to play it. And that's what really where it goes. And you're right. And I think just our terrible expectations from Avengers.
And
really,
I like the way it doesn't end like there's going to be a sequel, which I like.
It doesn't overstay its welcome.
I think I would love a sequel, but
this is a complete story.
But
yeah.
Eidos Montreal has earned the right to make a third Deus Ex game. Square Enix, let Eidos Montreal make this final Deus Ex game. Elias Tufexis wants to make it. The fans want it. Let this game happen. Guardians proved that this team is a good team and they can make a good game. So let them go back to that IP and fucking finish this Deus Ex story that they're telling. For fuck's sake. Let's see it happen, man.
I can only echo Gooch's sentiment. I didn't love you. What was the second one they did?
Mankind Divided.
That one is half a game, which is unfortunate for me. And I think that they've earned the right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they really have.
And that's an amazing and interesting world.
It's a game that the fans want. The fans want to see this. So I'm glad Guardians did well from that perspective, because they're gonna have a lot of money.
I mean, next gen Deus Ex could be amazing.
And like it's funny because the fact that it's a very cyberpunky kind of game.
1000%.
And now that cyberpunk has pretty much flopped, they still have room to come in and do something different to that genre.
That game hasn't flopped. It's made so much money, like so much.
I know, but like we can't positively talk about it.
I can positively talk about some aspects of. Anyway, that's the whole. You're right, but reception wise, I would.
In our heads, we can never forget what had transpired.
No, it's true.
It's hard. Yeah.
No, but no, I concur 1000%. I think there's a yearning that could fill.
Eidos Montreal, right? That Deus Ex game is wanted by the fans, and I feel like it would be cool for that genre. And again, this game has proved that they can make a good game, they can write a good game, they can do everything good for a game.
We'll talk about that on a separate podcast. Like what happened with the last Deus Ex, and I just feel it just feels incomplete. Like that's what I like.
I mean, they had a lot of development issues.
That's what I thought.
So Elias Tufexis, the voice actor for Adam Jensen, I always call him Adam Tufexis. Elias Tufexis. He even said he's the person who said it, that like they rewrote the whole game.
Oh wow.
Like at one point.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I think that's where the issue stemmed from. The fact that they had a story and they rewrote the whole thing, and that's kind of where the issues lied, and it didn't sell well and it didn't review well, and that's why the third one wasn't greenlit. But he says, man, he's like, Mankind Divided, I know Jensen now. Like I that role is pretty much his breakout role, and he's in a lot of other stuff, but like Adam, he's like, I found my groove with Adam. I learned who Adam is, and I am Adam.
No, it would be nice. And I think that series deserves.
He wants to do another one too, and he's like, there's no plans, but like, I am for it. Let's do it.
I agree.
Like, no questions.
Get it done. Adios. Anyways, Gooch, have we missed anything at all? We got Fing Fang Foom. We got the church.
I think we're good.
We got the Guardians. We got the story. Go buy this goddamn game.
I liked the inclusion of very different villains.
Absolutely. Those, like, even the Lethal Legion and all that stuff, like, just weird kind of offshoot.
And Lady Hellbender was one they kind of advertised.
Is she from the comics?
She's very new.
But she is from the comics.
She's like 2015.
I loved her a lot. I really like that character for some reason. And I love the back and forth between her and Drax. I thought was, again, I'm going to say it 1,000 times, the writing. So good. So good. Anywho. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've been watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we very much appreciate you being with us. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all the social medias at Delco Nerds. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord channel where we talk about stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy. We have an email address as well. You can email us all your comments, questions, or concerns. That is delconerds@gmail.com. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.